If you've seen this, guys, but Leadpin would love this. Like over 100 women jogging on a golf course. Wow. Makes me want to take up jogging. I hate bloody running. Hello everybody! Spiky here. So today I'm just going to tell you a little story. And it all begins back about 3 years ago now. And this is a story of my old friend who, well, let's just say he went off the rails a bit. He was a good kid. He was about 15 and he was doing well with his life, considering how much of a hard life he had. And you know, his mother, she was never there for any of her kids, to be honest with you. And I remember being there because, you know, as his best friend, I'd say, to all of them. They were my best friends, the whole family, and I've grown up on that estate since, you know, as a kid. And we've always got on, and, you know, everything we've done was shared and whatnot. But yeah, I guess it all started when he is getting sponsored by Man United, and he was in the juniors football club for Man United. So, you know, I was really happy for him that day, because the amount of crap he went through and the amount of stuff him and his brothers have been through as well, and you know, he's finally done something with his life, and he was a fantastic footballer. So I guess one day I heard that he took steroids. So that was it for him. He got kicked out, which was a shame, because he had a bright future, whether it be in Man United or a local football club. But yeah, he totally ruined that for himself. And I'd just like to say to people out there as well, if there's ever an opportunity for you such as that to make something of your life, no matter how much shit you've been through in your life, take it and run with it. Do not go about cheating and try and make yourself better by taking drug enhancements. Try to keep a head on your shoulders when you get this opportunity. And so anyway, he ended up taking steroids. He got kicked out of the club, and unfortunately he turned to drugs. So now it started off with weed, then it went on to more serious drugs like cocaine and all that stuff, and it, you know, you could tell it ruined his life. He was absolutely devastated that he got kicked out, but it was his fault, and it was such a silly move. But yeah, he just continued to take drugs. He went completely off the rails. He got in trouble all the time with the police, as did most of his, you know, his brothers and that, because he always looked up to his bigger brother. So, and yeah, he always used to get up into a lot of trouble. And I guess that's it. Once you look up to your brother, or you look up to someone, you want to follow in their footsteps, which is a shame, because he really had a chance of making something of his life. So what I'm getting at here is, in the end, what happened was he ended up killing someone, and this is what it boiled down to. Not per se personally like knifing someone or shooting him or whatever, or in that sense, but manslaughter. So basically, as what they used to do a lot of time was, him and the brother, well, most of my mates, and I just never got involved in it, to be honest with you, because I'm just not that sort of person. It's like, I couldn't go about, you know, robbing someone's car or breaking into somebody's house, because how would I feel if that happened to me? I'd be absolutely devastated. And that's where me and my friends basically broke off, because I wasn't like that. I never have been brought up to be like that. And yeah, so he ended up jacking a car. He went out with a few other friends that I know that were my friends, and at the time they had a lad in the car. I've never heard of this guy before. He was about 8 years old, and they ended up crashing the car. He ended up, the little boy in the back, because they had no seatbelts on, of course, and he ended up dead. He ended up in the footwell. He just went right over under the footwell and died. But yeah, I just, even to this day, I didn't think anything could ever happen like that with my friends, and that's how serious it got, really. I mean, it wasn't that per se that got me out of this, you know, whole hang around with the wrong people and all that, but it was just everything on top. I've got so many different stories, so many different things that have happened in my life that have amounted to that point where I've just gone, enough, I've had enough of this. I've got to get out of this, because I'm going to end up either in prison or dead. And, you know, what for? What for? So I could just act like a tit and impress my friends? It's not worth it. At the end of the day, what they've turned out to now is, you know, they're on drugs, they've made nothing of their life, they've not got a good job, they're probably still on job seekers now, a lot of them that I know, and selling drugs, but they've made nothing. They've got nothing to show for. And it kind of kills me inside, because thinking that I've left that and I've left them to it, but at the end of the day, how could I make a change to their lives? It literally wasn't up to me, it's down to them to make a change in their life. And I've tried, believe me, I've said, oh, you know, you're going to stop taking drugs, are you going to, but no, they don't listen to you. Instead, rather than agree with you and say, yeah, that's it, I'll hold my hands up, I'm going to stop doing all this stuff now, it's more of the case of, oh, go on Spikey, here, try some of this, try some of that. And the amount of times that these real friends, as you call them, try to get me to try different drugs and do all these things, it makes you think, were they really my friend after all that time? Probably not. No, probably not. And yeah, so back to the subject, he ended up with 2 years in prison. 2 years in prison. Was it enough? Has he changed? I don't know, because I've not seen him since. And the last time I heard of him, he was up to his old ways again. But there you go. That's it. And I'm not sure if prison has really helped him. I'm not sure if it's made a difference. It probably hasn't. Because at the end of the day, he's going to be out there again, and his brothers, in the meantime, have been doing the exact same shit since he's been in prison. So as soon as he comes back, it's just all over again. It's just a vicious circle. And yeah, I guess that's my little story in a nutshell, really. And I just feel sorry for the parents of that boy, because they never had a chance, really. They probably didn't even know what he was getting up to. And that's the thing. Most parents nowadays have no idea what other kids get up to. And most parents, well, a lot of parents don't even give a shit. That's the worst bit, is when the parents just don't care. And that just only adds to the problem. But yeah, it's all those who are in this situation, I suggest that you just get out of it now. I know it's hard, and you lose all your friends, and literally I've lost all my friends, and I'll be honest with you, I have lost all my friends. I have. But in a way, I'm glad, because it wouldn't have, if I hadn't have left, then I wouldn't be speaking to you now. I wouldn't have owned that motorbike. I wouldn't have owned these cameras. I wouldn't have been able to rent my own house. I'd just be in some ditch somewhere, and with nothing to show for. And that's the truth. Once you've clawed your way out of all the shit, you can really make something of your life. And it doesn't matter how poor you are, what sort of background you've come from. Because I come from a really poor background, and I remember a few times I've not had food in the fridge, no food in the cupboard, and we've just had to go by. It's not because my mum didn't give a shit, it's because she was working 2 jobs and still wasn't able to afford it. And whereas now there's a lot of people that are just on benefits and they can afford fucking everything. But that's how this country is, unfortunately. It's how it's been made. And I can go on many hours about that, but that's a completely different subject. And I know how a lot of you UK viewers feel about that as well, with people just living off benefits and all that. It really frustrates me too. So anyway guys, I guess that's my story, and yeah, that's it basically. So also now I'm going to do a top speed on my bike, but with the camera facing my speedometer. So if you don't want to watch it now, I don't have a problem with you just clicking off and going and watch another channel or whatever. That's completely fine, because it's only for this one specific person that's asked me to do it, so I'm more than okay to do that for him. So anyway, thank you, bye now.